motor mounts. I got me a new air filter. I have codes for O2 sensor, so I'm gonna be replacing the O2 sensor as well. Let me show you guys. Can you guys see how bad this is? The motor is sitting about an inch and a half lower. The motor shouldn't be lower than the subframe. The front cover is resting on the sway bar as well as the steering rack. That's crazy, man. The motor mount probably original on this. I got my trusted Harbor Freight engine support bar. As you guys can see, I have my engine support bar. Alright guys, as you guys can see, the motor mount bolts is right here. And you really cannot see the motor mount. So we're gonna go ahead and drop the subframe just a little bit to clear the motor mount. With the air intake out of the way, it should be a lot easier to remove the steering column nut, as you guys can see right there. The steering nut is E10. You also want to go ahead and make sure and remove all the 10 millimeters that holds the power steering lines to the subframe. You also want to go ahead and make sure you disconnect the ground strap that's on the engine. And on the subframe you have 1, 2, 3 18 millimeter. The one at the end is a 16 millimeter. Let's go ahead and loosen the other side. So once you have all the subframe and bottom motor mount bolts out of the way, let's go ahead and release the subframe down slowly. You don't want to go down too fast, just in case you have something snug. You don't want to break a wire or maybe even a hose. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a look around, make sure nothing is stugging or stuck. So the motor mount top nut is where you see my hand is right here. 16 millimeter. The right side is a lot easier to get from right here. As you guys can see. So the left side was completely shot, and this is the right side, which is completely worn as well. For comparison, as you guys can see, what a big difference that is. Let's go ahead and throw the new one in. You wanna make sure you clean where the motor mount sits, because it's full of dirt and debris. And you also want to make sure you put the motor mount, you see the guard pin, you want to make sure it sits in the right hole. Once you have your motor mount in the right spot where you need it to be, I have the top nut and the bottom nut. Make sure the pin is in the right position. I'm just gonna go ahead and secure the top motor mount on both sides, and then I'm gonna move on to lining up the subframe. So now to reinstall the subframe, you want to make sure your pin goes in smoothly. You don't want to fight it. You don't want any kind of binding. I'm gonna start the bolts with my hands. You want to start with hands. You don't want to start with an impact. As you guys can see, if I push this up, it goes in right away. let's go ahead and start with yeah. The torque is going to be 103 for the 18mm bolts and 56 for the 16mm bolts. So just with the new motor mount, the engine sit that much more higher. As you guys can see, there's basically no more tension on here, which is crazy. The engine is supposed to sit that high. Let me go ahead and show you guys the bottom as well. Don't forget to secure your steering column bolt. Now for the bottom, what a huge difference that is as well. The clearance between the oil pan and the sway bar. The clearance between the oil pan and the steering rack. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and reinstall all the 10mm bolts, and then I'm gonna move on to replacing my O2 sensor. I do have a code for O2 sensor, that's why I'm replacing them. And we're also gonna go ahead and take care of the exhaust leak. Exhaust is secure. New O2 sensors, both sides. Now the engine sits so much higher than before. Done with the motor mounts and the O2 sensor. I still have a lot of parts coming for the E92 M3. Thanks for rocking with your boy. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.